tonight, or a preemptive post saying I was going to be going live tonight. I had so much going on. It's just, it's not even funny. But as usual, please leave a comment where you're watching from and push the share button. Tonight's show is brought to you proudly by American Drag Seats. You can reach me at americandragseats.com, or you can go here on Facebook, and it's American Drag Seats / Attitude Inc. But anyway, so tonight's show is proudly brought to you by my company. Anyway, americandragseats.com, custom motorcycle seats, full motorcycle builds, custom metal work, custom fiberglass work, the whole 9 yards. You want it, we got it. We can do it. Anyway, so what's up, Mr. William Cole and Mr. Jeremy Valentine? What's up, Mr. David Miller? That's so funny. We are going to go over a little bit, and I'm sure everybody's getting really sick and tired of hearing it, but I'm excited. I'm really excited about this biker build off. I've talked to a bunch of people that are in on it. We've already started receiving the videos for the documentary we're doing. It's turning out to be a pretty big deal. It's going to be a good time, and I'm very appreciative of all of the judges that are participating and helping the judging. I'm very appreciative of all the builders throwing in those $2,500 to get on this build off. I will say this, you guys come prepared, man. Be sure to go over to the grind page and print off the rule sheet, sign it, and send a money order to Kevin Sockwell. Please message me, and I will send you my address to mail it to me. You have to have a signed copy of the rules with your money order. Do not forget it. You have to have it to be considered good to go. The cutoff date is March 1st. So I have to have everybody's money and their the signed rule sheet from everybody by March 1st. The other thing that's really good that's going on is, I don't know if any of you have been paying attention. This country's in a state of distress right now. Pretty bad out there. So that's all the more reason. Let's all come together and build some motorcycles, man. Let's get back to doing what we're good at, and that is being a kick-ass community of bike builders, bike enthusiasts, bike riders, fans of it. Let's focus on that, and let's stop focusing on all the hate and the negativity and all that crap that's going on that unfortunately today we can't do anything about. I would like to say, as you can see behind me, these are all my sponsors for 2020. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and keep this banner. But if you remember, there's 2 other banners out there from the biker build-offs that are still floating around. So we may be bringing that back in 2021 as well. Not 100% sure yet. Need to talk to a couple of builders about possibly doing that. But right now, to be real honest with you, I'm focusing real hardcore on getting sponsors for the show, because this one's going to be expensive. Man, I'm telling you what, it's going to be very expensive to get this one going and do all the things that I really want to do. I would like to say this, it's not 100% confirmed, but it's about 90% confirmed. We do have an apparel sponsor for the show. Not 100% sure yet. But I will say this, all of the sponsors and all of the builders will be revealed to everyone by March 1st, or the first Thursday after March 1st. I will be putting out a list of all of our vendors. I mean, not vendors, all of our sponsors and all of your builders, so that you guys can know who's going to be in the show, who's building, and things of that nature. And then I'm going to start slowly interviewing, or trying to interview, all of the builders on the grind shows throughout the year. So you get a little opportunity to talk to them. I don't think they're going to show you their bikes that they're building, but I think you're going to get a real good kick out of having those little hour interviews with each one of these builders. The next thing I would like to say, I'd like to give a big shout out to Mr. Jeremy Valentine. I was very fortunate to meet him through Brian Barber, but he's one of those guys, man, that really builds some clean ass bikes. Um, he's been dropping a couple of bikes here lately, and they're really some good looking little bobbers, man. I really appreciate guys like him that do this, and they're not out there all wrapped up in the drama every day of, Facebook land and all that stuff. They're just kind of behind the scenes building bikes and making them look good and making a lot of happy bikers out there. But anyway, um, I would love to sit here and be able to tell you guys everything's peachy keen and just flowing right along. But everybody understands, man, when you put together any caliber of any type of bike show, it's a lot of work. And I'm really, really finding that out the hard way by putting this one on. Um, there's so many details and so many little things you got to do every day to make this stuff happen. Things that I didn't even realize that you had to do, I'm learning that you have to do. And another thing about this industry is the people in it. Um, there are so many people that I have to say thank you to. It's just not even funny. One of the biggest guys I have to say thank you to is Uncle Bruno. A lot of you guys don't understand this, but Uncle Bruno does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. He does a lot of the post sharing. He does a lot of the stuff for the grind, because Uncle Bruno is actually part of the grind team now officially. He's an admin on the page. So anytime in the comment sections you ever see people, you see the grind posting up stuff with links and things of that nature. That's all Uncle Bruno doing that while I'm sitting here talking and hosting the show. He's on the background doing all this cool stuff like that. Um, so I have to give Uncle Bruno a big shout out. Then you've got Marsha Fitzpatrick that's just always involved, always sharing, always doing a lot of cool stuff for the show. And that's what it takes. It takes a lot of people, that get behind the show to share the page, invite their friends, invite other friends, talk to people in their neighborhoods or their communities or at their rallies or their bike nights to let people know that this show even exists. Um, it's a lot of work, man. But I tell you what, I live legitimately Monday through Wednesday, getting everything I can get done for American Drag Seats, getting the bikes built, getting the seats built, getting all my stuff done, so that on Thursday nights I can really focus on getting the show together, getting everything put together, and coming up with a format of some degree to be able to either interview somebody or discuss the biker build offs with you, discuss the national biker build offs with you. Um, there's just so much going on. Uh, I like it that I see common people like Lori Boisel. She's been watching for at least the last 2 years, hardly ever misses a night. Gary Bender's always been around. Michael Rasmussen has been around a long time. Mr. Logan Black's been around for a long time. William Cole's been along. There's just so many people that they tune in every week, and that's what makes this show so kick-ass. Then you get new people watching the show, like my brother. I would have never thought in a million years my brother would be on here watching the show. I don't know that he's watching the show tonight. Would be kind of cool if he was. I'd like to see him throw a comment up there if he is watching it. Because the cool thing with this is now I can see where they're watching from. So everybody tonight's watching from Facebook land, which is awesome. But if somebody's on YouTube watching it live on YouTube, it shows up that they're watching from YouTube, which is really kick-ass. It's a good time. Anyway, beyond all that, I've heard a lot of good stuff here lately. It's kind of a touchy subject to talk about, but I've heard a lot of good stuff that a lot of people are pulling together and coming together for Will Bond's show, Sound Wars, and they're going to try to keep that show going, which I think is the coolest thing in the world. I think that Will did a lot of good stuff in the short time that he was doing it. I think he did it for 2.5 years. And he made a huge impact. In my opinion, he made a huge impact with the stereo competition, because wherever there was a rally, Sound Wars was set up there doing a stereo competition. And when you do something that big and you go coast to coast, from north to south, east to west, it gets out there and it gets people hungry. It gets them interested. And, maybe I can do that. And that's what all of this shit's about. Respectfully, that's what it's about. Uh, Whenever we come on here and we get, hypothetically, we get, a wheel manufacturer, and he's like, "Hey, Kev, I want to get on your show and get interviewed." Well, man, that's pretty all right to me. I'll interview just about anybody in the industry, as you guys, for the last 3.5 years are used to seeing. Um, so it's cool when you see someone like that, and their companies, here, and then after a year of being associated with the grind, their company's up here. They're making money, their name's getting out there better, and they're prospering. That's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy it that businesses thrive in the industry. I think with the fact that you've got people like Daniel Roby, with Urban Rides Magazine, you got The Grind, you've got Chopper Town, you got all these different formats, and they're all doing things that are made to help this industry across the board. I don't know if Chopper Town knows who I am, um, or anything like that, but I mean, I try to promote everybody in the industry because I think it takes that to get this industry back to where it used to be. But I will say this: I would like to bring on um, a couple of people, but it's kind of hard to bring people on here if they're not paying attention. Um, I'm going to send somebody right now a message and just see if they can come on. Let me see here. Let's see. Find him. That didn't work out. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, that I did it wrong. There we go. All right, we're gonna let that play out, see how that works out. So anyway, so back to where I'm at. Matthew Sidori, gotta talk wheels soon. Do you see that, Benny? I see. Gotta talk wheels soon. You get it, Benny? Um, I've also got so here's something I want to discuss just real quick. So everybody in this industry actually likes cars and hot rod trucks and stuff of that nature. I've got a very special guest I'm trying to get on the show, but man, it's like pulling teeth from chickens. Um, the reason I say that is because he's like he struggles with, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And I keep telling him, like, man, you just all you got to do, excuse me, all you got to do is just come on. I'm going to show you. Uh, and I just keep telling him, man, you just got to get on here. It's just like talking over your phone or your cell phone. But I'd like to get this guy on here because he's real big into customization of hot rods, cars, trucks, vans. It doesn't matter. Conversions. And he owns a good company here in Houston, or actually it's Friendswood, called Texas Truck Innovations. I think you guys would get a kick out of this guy because he's a sweetheart of a guy, but he's just one of those guys, man. His entire life has been about cars, and hot rods and stuff like that. And anyway, so if Jerry Chambers is watching this show tonight, man, it's going to be good. What is Joshua Brooks saying? Make sure to get videos. Joshua Brooks, we will. Yeah, we're gonna have to take it easy on me this weekend. The real thing is, and I'm getting too old to get that drunk. I'm not gonna deny it. Uh, see, here's one of the things right there. Yeah, I'm gonna post that up because y'all apparently are seeing this right here. Smart cycles. That's the whole thing. Um, Andy Smith and the guys over there, they do rock. They're freaking badass, actually. Um, so, but anyway, we're trying real hard. Chewbacca. I'm probably gonna end up having to get a goddamn t-shirt made because apparently Chewbacca is just. Y'all knew the whole story behind that Chewbacca stuff, man. That was funny, but I could not make a Chewbacca noise correctly. And yes, I'm drinking original. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's HEB sweetened with pure cane sugar. Uh, but anyway, come on, Jason, get on here, man. It ain't that hard, brother. Just hit the button, download the app, and you're in. Louis Bailey, take it easy, bro. Just please take it easy. Can't get me that bad. Um, I don't even think Brian Barber's up. I think that dude's so tired right now and working and stuff like that. I'd love to get him on. Uh, what do you think the next big change in the bike design industry is? Um, I'm not 100% sure, but everybody, hey, let's welcome Jason on here from Urban Rides Magazine. Dude, why did I think you were a blonde? Can you hear me?
Yo, I'm getting all kinds of feedback right now, so I'm trying.
Turn your cell phone off unless you're on your cell phone. Because that's probably where you're getting the feedback.
Bro, my cell phone's off.
Okay. You still getting the feedback?
Yeah, I'm actually getting like two voices. Hold up, I got this. I had Facebook on there. So what's up?
Nothing. I thought you were a blonde. You got black.
Come on now. I'm gray. That's about all I am.
Yeah, you got that just for men going on?
I haven't crossed that threshold yet.
No, your head is like black and your beard is gray.
Nah, dude.
How's that possible?
I don't know. At this point in my 40s, I'm just happy it's all still here.
Seriously, bro, come on. This is called hat fishing. I'm a solid 8 with a hat on. Take the hat off, I'm down to a 2.
I'm holding on this as long as I can.
So, man, I really wanted to talk to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for, since August. I've actually wanted to bring you on here and talk to you. Shut up, Brian. I'm on a laptop now. I wanted to bring you on here because there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about because I don't know if a lot of people know it, but you are the owner of 77 Customs.
Yes.
But you also work with Urban Rides Magazines.
That's correct.
Okay, so I thought you worked for Urban Rides Magazine. I had no clue you own 77 Customs.
Yeah, that's where I started, and that just all kind of came together.
Okay, so if you guys don't know it, this guy's got one of the baddest, just literally baddest bikes I've ever seen. Simply because it's straightforward, it's clean, it's got a banging stereo system in it. But this looks like a bike you literally could go from coast to coast on and have no issues and have the best of everything.
Well, I'm going to give that compliment to my guys because they're the talent. I always say I just yell at everybody and pay bills. That's pretty much all I do. So my guys get all the credit for, most of what went on with that bike. I pick things out. I'm good with the design, but when it comes to the actual work, that's my guys all day long.
Do you do the work? Are you capable of doing the work?
Some of it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can build a bike from scratch because it's never really been my thing. I'm a wiring guy. I like wiring, tuning. I like the audio. I like lighting. I like that kind of stuff. When it comes to, the nitty gritty of actually building a bike and the mechanics of it, that's all my guys. I'm not going to say that I do that stuff because I don't. So.
Yeah. Why does David Miller got to keep wearing your hat, Kev? Yeah, I know. I wear my hat all the time. I wear my hat to church. I'm just telling you guys. I wear it to church. Anyway, so what all's going on with Urban Rides Magazine right now?
We have a lot of things in the works with Urban Rides right now. Obviously, the monthly publication, but we're working on, obviously we're the most well-traveled magazine. We're going to be at all the rallies. We're going to be, at all the shows. But beyond that, we're trying to revamp the website. We're trying to get a custom motorcycle marketplace up. So instead of everybody out there trolling around on social media trying to find, a big wheel bagger or a custom Softail, they'll have a place to go. We have things like that in the works where our social media, we're going to be pushing a little bit harder. You're going to see a lot more with videos. With video channel, we just redid our Instagram. So, I mean, we're kind of established now. So we're trying to up it a little bit more and just kind of get our presence a little bit more, online. So, that's where, and we also right now we're exploring print options as well. We've been kind of baby stepping into that because, it's costly to go there and we didn't want to make that leap until we felt that we were comfortable. But now, we're starting to look into, a couple print applications because some people want to hold the magazine in their hands,
Everybody, I speak for the entire world when I say this. Everybody wants to hold a magazine in their hands. Let me explain to you why. So, in my office, which is that away, I have a coffee table it's coffee table, but it's actually like a big box. It is absolutely full. Easy Rider, Hot Bike, the Horse. There's a handful of magazines. It's completely full of. I can't tell you, man, how many times I go sit in my office when I've had a really long day and I open up that, just randomly grab a magazine to feel it and to look at it and read. You're not having to get on the internet. You're not having to, you bought it, you're done. You know what I'm saying? It's tangible now. Your magazine's kick ass because for the last 2 or 3 years, it's actually been online and you've established, like you said,
83% are right here. Everybody reads on their phones.
That's right. But I'm telling you, I have a funny feeling because of the last 2 years. I bet now, like you said, it's probably the time to do it. And I think you guys are going to be very successful when you actually put something in.
Which I'm going to say this, if Roby is watching right now, he's going to be doing an I told you so, because Dan's been pushing for print for months and months and months. I've been a little bit more conservative about it because, there have been how many magazines that went out of business. We're growing. Yeah. We're bringing on more advertisers. We have more subscribers. We're growing. So I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative about it because I want us to be in it for the long haul. This industry needs publications. We need something to shoot for. People, it's the one thing that I think maybe I undervalued until I got in this position. I didn't realize how important it was to get in a magazine. It's just... It's people go absolutely nuts over it. And it's maybe something I never understood, even reading the magazines, how special it is. So if you don't have that to shoot for, then what do you got left? I mean, it's all part of the industry. It's part of the magic of, the custom culture,
Absolutely.
So I just, it really means something. Here's a difference between I have a bike, I have a car, I have a truck, I have this or that, or I have a magazine bike. I have a magazine truck, and then it kind of elevates it to another level, but we have to exist for that to happen. So thankfully, we've had great subscribers, great support. Our advertisers, I can't thank them enough. The support that we've got from the industry over the last year, even in a terrible year that 2020 was, we continued to grow. And it's that support from the industry and all the enthusiasts that have helped us get to where we're at now, which is going to be 2021 is going to be awesome. But I want to bring it into print as well. I want people to be able to say, look, I'm in the magazine, hold it up, open the pages, look where I'm at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on it.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I know you know the grind. Me. I love anything I can do for Urban Rides Magazine. I'm down for it. I always try to do whatever I possibly can, and sometimes I slide through. But check this out. Watch. See it?
What, you're going the wrong way? Oh, you got okay. I see the one little sticker up there.
Well, that's because Daniel Roby slid by and stuck it up there. But I will say this, and I'm not saying this to be mean at all, but if you see the sticker, it's kind of peeling. Whomever he got stickers from, y'all need to get new sticker guys. Whoever he got stickers from, that's the shit. I don't know who Louis getting the stickers from, but dude, I've rolled that thing and beat it up, and that sticker hasn't budged. These two are made out of the wrong material. They're good stickers, but they're just made out of the wrong material. I say that because when he put that on there, I watched him do it, but he does it like he's sneaky. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, dude, if you're gonna like sneak around, won't you wait till I go to the bathroom and then like plaster the whole thing with stickers? You know. But anyway, so we need to work on that. Plus, when we get the new banner this year, you won't have to worry about the sticker because it's going to be down here with everybody else anyway.
Nice. I'll have to get you a better logo. We actually we have a couple things we've worked on with that too. So the other thing I don't want to fail to mention is, and you and I talked about this briefly, Gab, on the phone. What was it? Probably a couple weeks ago. We're going to try to get a section on our website as well. So when people want to jump onto the grind to watch, they don't necessarily have to be on Facebook. They can go through our website too, and any and happenings. I'd like to get that up there too, because, you're doing something great for the industry. We do have to all stick together, kind of, based on what you were saying a little bit earlier in the show, we're all for that, man. We want to be together. We want to promote together. We want to get this industry to grow together. So
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at comments. You know how these fools get with comments. Damn, Jason getting a little gray.
A little gray. I'm getting a lot gray, son. I don't know where you're at.
So you need to ask Louis why he keeps his so short and trim. It's to keep the gray down. I know. I've seen it. So, but hey, man, you know what I heard? Women like that salt and pepper on men, man. So I'm good. If I could just get the plugs or something right here, just some plugs. I think I might get some plugs.
Dude, they got some spray paint for that now, I think. Good.
I had a dream the other night, dude. I'm not even gonna lie about this. You know the hats that have the hair in them? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I had a dream that I had a hat, but it wasn't a hat, and it was just a mohawk. And it was like 4 foot freaking tall. And I'm walking around with this mohawk, and I can't see it. I don't know it's there. And everybody's pointing and laughing and throwing shit at me. And it's because I got this great big huge mohawk. Anyway. I probably
gotta stay off the drugs.
I know, right? It's probably drinking this pure sugar cane Coca-Cola before I go to bed. So okay, let's get beyond that. So you're another industry professional. What is your take on this National Biker Build-Off? Is there anything you would do the same or do different, or what do you think that, since you've heard about it and we've discussed it? I know we've discussed it.
I like the idea, and I kind of bring it back to, I watched all the biker build-offs. When I started my shop 6 years ago, and it was just me in a little shop. I had a TV up and I ran on a loop all the old, biker build-offs, and where it's funny because there's standard definition on a little screen and whatnot, and it really made me realize how long ago that was. And I mean, there was something special about, there was something cool about, you know, a couple builders going head to head and riding across the country and facing off at a show. And it's just that energy, that competition, you know, but it's competition and it's not. You know, one of my favorite things about it was, you know, how you had people pitted against each other, but it was in good fun too. You know, where it would be a problem and the other guy would help this guy out, even though they were competing. You know, that's the whole spirit of it. And I'd love to see, you know, that come together. And I mean, honestly, any competition, you know, right now, and I don't want to get negative, but there's so many little beefs and squabbles and whatnot going on in the industry. It is getting ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like, did you hear what this guy said about this guy, this guy, this guy? And I just trying to tune it all out. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We all love the same thing, you know, and I wish we can get back to that. I wish we can get back to that mutual respect. And you know what? You might not like another guy, another builder, what he's doing or this or that. Great. Keep it to yourself, man. You know, because at the end of the day, we all dream about these bikes when we go to sleep. You know, so we all have a common bond there, no matter, you know, what our views are.
So it's funny that you say that, because here in the last couple of months, I've actually started noticing some builders actually making posts calling people out. Now, I've never really been, you know, it's never upset me to have confrontation. I mean, confrontation typically leads to something good. If you've got two people that actually care about what they're doing,
Yeah.
you know, having a confrontation might seem like a bad deal because it may start out screaming and yelling, but once they start talking, then you get to the root of the problem. Then you end up getting the problem fixed. Then you got people that are, hell, they could end up being lifelong friends at that point. But there's been a couple of builders here lately that have actually started calling people out. And in one hand, you know, copying someone's part is, some people say that that's the biggest, you know, pat on the back. You know, other time people are like, well, no, you're just being lazy. You're not thinking of yourself. But at this point in 2021, what was it? 1902 was when Indian started, I think. I actually think it was in the late 1800s. So motorcycles have been around for over 100 years. I'm pretty freaking sure everything's been done to them that you can do to them. At this point in time, you just got to get clean. You got to get, you know, you got to just do your thing. I mean, one of my favorite people in the industry, but also another, just a nice guy. He built a bike that I really liked, and that's Logan Black's green bike.
Oh, that bike's hot.
It's
hot bike.
But when you look at the overall bike, you're just like, man, there's a lot of attention to detail. It's very rideable. Even all of his wiring and stuff like that, everything's good on the bike, real tight. Another favorite bike of mine is Louis' Blue Road Glide. Yeah. You know, he rides that bike. I guarantee it's got to have at least 30 or 40,000 miles on it, because I mean, it doesn't matter where we're going, what we're doing, where we're at. Him and Chantal are always on that bike. I mean, that's what their preference is. And I'm just, when you see a bike that's that clean and winning shows, but they're also on it every single day, those are good kick-ass bikes. I'd have to think that a lot of the customers that are paying you guys to build them these badass bikes, surely they can't all be just sitting in their garages.
Well, dude, I can tell you,
on the roads.
My shop, we do really good quality work. We don't put out a lot of like the big over the top bikes, but most of the bikes that my shop's built over the last few years have been like not super low bags, not lay frames. Most of them are air ride 26, you know, some stretch bags, but nothing too crazy. And guys that actually get on the road and ride them, you know, like a mix. It's like something that's a step above the typical custom, you know, something a little bit more, you know, a little crazier, but then not so much that they can't, you know, beat on it. So that seems to be at least the market in the Pittsburgh area. That seems to be what it is. Don't get me wrong. You know, there are some people that want the over the top bikes, and, you know, one of the other local shops, you know, Paradise, you know, Rob builds some crazy stuff, some really, you know, gorgeous bikes, but at least what comes through my shop and my market seems to be the, you know, build something you can ride type bike. So.
Um, like your bike, when I saw your bike in Sturgis, when I heard the stereo, I about shit my pants. I was just amazed. But then you find out that you ride the bike, and what's it, about 55 miles to Mount Rushmore?
Uh,
Um,
that was my first Sturgis. So
oh, okay. So if I'm not mistaken, it's about 55 miles to get to Mount Rushmore, but it seems so much longer because the way that you go there and ride, it's just, man, so much, just, it's like a roller coaster. I mean, it's just awesome. And when you like, one of my favorite people to see ride is Louis Bailey, because him and Chantal, the way they ride together, they're very fluid. But when he rides that bike, I mean, when I saw him on Needles Highway, I was like, holy shit, how is he getting that big ass bike in those tight ass corners and those cutbacks? I mean, it's just the way that the bike was built. And like you said, it's not real extreme lay frame. It's I think it's a 23 fat tire with modest bags, modest fender, hell of a stereo system. But it's just one of those bikes, man, you just know for a fact you could jump on it and go coast to coast. Just like yours. I mean, no offense, bro.
dude, one of the
Your bike
best
shit.
decisions I made. I was going to have a fully loaded tour pack, and I decided against it. Part of it was because of the magazine, because I have to carry camera equipment with me to the rallies. So I needed to have a little bit of storage space, but eliminating, a tour pack that was going to have, 4 8s in it, loaded up with audio equipment, taking that weight off from up there was the best decision I made because, my bike, for it being a big audio bike and as heavy as it is, all the weight stays low and it's very rideable. I never felt uncomfortable riding that bike. And to be honest with you, not only was my first Sturgis, that was the shakedown run on that bike. I never rode the bike. We literally got it done the night before I left. So I never rode that bike before. And I was really impressed with it. And I could feel the lack of weight up there. Everything was low. It was nice. I mean, it's interesting because I've seen a couple guys, it seems like they're trying to, if they don't have, their extreme bike and a rider bike, it seems like there's a lot of guys that are trying to cut some weight down and make their extreme bikes a little less extreme now. I think that, I've seen some lighter, builds out there, and I think it's for rideability. So,
Well, I still to this day haven't gotten to ride my bagger since we got the stereo stuff and everything put into it, because I got to fix the air ride and I got to fix the center stand. But I haven't had any, just zero time. But it's going to be in Sturgis. It's going to be in Daytona, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to Jeff Eldridge's show in April, I think it is. I may not be there, but my stereo guy might be taking it and using it for his own personal advertisement. But that's what I told the stereo guys. I said, like, dude, I don't want to go so far over the top with the stereo system I can't ride anymore, because this is something me and my wife really enjoy doing, is riding this bike. Um, and it's always been fun. It's always handled really well with a 26-inch front wheel. Um, but when you put that much weight and that much stereo equipment in the back of it, it's really, it does make it ride different. And
oh, yeah.
I was told by somebody that you have to buy a different rear tire for the bikes because the sidewall is a little bit stiffer and it
Well,
makes it handle better.
I was running, before we went as heavy. The first time we built this bike, or my bike, I think it was running a Metzler on the back, and we changed it. Honestly, I can't remember what tire it was because my shop manager Brian Boker was talking to Dorian Thomas. Dorian said, "Hey, run this tire for the extra weight. It's a lot stiffer of a tire. It's going to handle having sealed bags, drop rails, and all the audio equipment a lot better." And that's what I'm running, and I don't feel squirrely at all. Even with the weight in the back and buzzing down the highway at 70, 75, it tracks straight, it's smooth, it's nice. So, I have to attribute, I guess, some of that to that tire. Unfortunately, I can't remember which tire it is for the life of me right now, but
Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out. I'm also thinking about starting to do a segment inside the shows that's tech, 100% tech related. But I've got to get a couple of people together, which I'm springing it on him now. But somebody like Jeremy Valentine, get him on here 15, 20 minutes. Let's talk about, changing the oil on a bike or rebuilding the forks or, small stuff like that most guys can do in their garage before they have to take it all the way to the dealership or their local shops to get repairs and stuff done. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do differently this year with the show. I may not get to do it this year because of the National Biker Build Off, because it's turning out to eat up a lot more time than I thought it was going to initially eat up. But I know one thing you guys do in your magazine. Don't y'all have a section that deals with stuff like that?
With what? Tech?
Yeah, like a tech area.
Well, what we try to do is we try to keep everything with the magazine mixed up. I mean, our formula is basically, 5 feature bikes. We have a couple standard articles, like we have the Down with Sound Wars. In 2021, we actually have Sound Bullies. They're going to have an article as well. We try to throw a couple equipment reviews more than anything. Sometimes you'll have tech tips. What I really try to pull in, and I'm going to do it a little bit more this year because we started to do it towards the end of last year with the last few issues. I'm trying to get shop owners to write an article, and based on whatever they want, and kind of leave it open. And the pushback I get from some of these guys is, well, I don't know how to write. That's cool. I don't care that you don't know how to write. I'm an editor. I'll make it look good. But I think that our subscribers, they want to see content from the shops that they know, from professionals in the industry. I want to, and it kind of brings the magazine back to a community thing where it's a big and a small industry. I'd like to hear from, more professionals in the industry, and, maybe a particular tech subject or a part that they use or a technique that they use. I'd like to get a little bit more of that, on a monthly basis. So we try to include that when we can. It just depends on where we're at with the magazine. It kind of changes on a monthly basis. So we're trying to get more of a standard, recipe going forward in 2021. So
are you going to do any interviews in the magazines?
Well, we have. I mean, we typically, at least every other issue, we'll do an interview. But again, when it goes the month to month, we have so much available and so much available content and so many available bikes. I find myself most of the time cutting it all down. Like I can't, the magazine's slowly been growing and getting bigger. And to the point where I have to sit back sometimes and go, I got to cap it at 60, 70, 80 pages. I don't want to go too much further than that. Right. You know what I mean? So it's, we have just so much content, which is ironic because when I took over the magazine back in March of last year, we were trying to find stuff to put in the magazine. Now I'm trying to find stuff to eliminate sometimes. And, but I would like to get more on the interview front. I want to hold to interviews and shop features and, and tech articles and product reviews. I want to try to keep a mix of it. So.
Well, I know it's Kick-Ass Magazine. I go through there and I read through and I pay attention. How much cleaning up did you have to do for my article?
Yours actually wasn't that bad.
Scrapped the whole damn thing and started from scratch.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so funny. That is like, I've talked to some of the baddest ass guys in the industry, and they're terrified to write. They're so terrified to write something. I'm like, calm down. I'll make you sound good. Granted, I'm not going to name any names, but there have been some people that have submitted articles, and I've literally had to chop 50% and rewrite half of it just so it sounds good. But that's just the way it works. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even care. I mean, dude, would you think this is one of the things I think is great? Would you sit here and it's I guess it's the same thing for you. Like you said, they're so afraid to write something. When I talk to people, because I talk to people all the time, I'm like, hey man, I really want to interview you on my show. No, man, I can't do that. Wow. We've already been on the phone for 45 minutes just talking. And I guess in their mind, when you say you're going to interview them, they think it's like a radio show, or it's, like the Tonight Show, where there's a crowd going to be looking right at them. And I'm like, dude, you realize you can't see anybody. You can only see the guy you're talking to. That's it. So it's
hey, dude, I'm going to tell you, I was a little bit freaked out. I mean, anybody that follows Urban Rides, they know Dan Roby. They know Dan on all the lives and taking the pictures and doing all that kind of stuff. You very rarely see my face on anything. And I made a decision moving into 2021 that I'm going to get in front of the camera a little bit more, be a little bit more personal, kind of personable, try to get out there. It could be intimidating. You know what I mean? So
It's
I
funny
think
to
where
me,
people are
though.
coming from.
Well, it's funny to me because I've never been good at talking in public ever. One of two things always happens. Either I get tongue-tied real bad or I start crying. I have no idea why I start crying. I get real emotional for some reason. But when I did this, the very first show, and this will tell you how old it is, it was January 7th of 2018 was my very first show. And when I went live that night, I wasn't even thinking about it. I mean, it was just like I was looking at my phone, talking to my phone. I didn't even realize anybody was really watching it either. But as time has gone on, I sit here and I'm just like, this is the coolest thing to me in the world because it's a good format because it's YouTube, it's Facebook, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a way to link it to Instagram, but you got to chop the videos up a little bit and you can link it to Instagram also. Well, when I started doing this stuff, I think it's cool to me that guys like you, I mean, there's no camera crew, there's no special effects or lighting or editing or anything like that. We're just getting to talk like we would any other time we talk on our cell phone. But the cool thing about it is people actually like watching conversations. They like hearing what you have to say about urban rides. They like hearing what I have to say about the grind and, all the other stupid shit that I talk about. It's gotten to the point, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are people out there that literally will schedule their whole week for Thursday nights at 9:00. It's like watching Friends or watching.
You got fans, man. Nothing about that. You got fans.
I don't know about fans. My wife said that. She's like, "Oh, your fans are waiting on you," and I'm like, "Oh my God, they're not fans. I promise you." But I guess to a degree it is fans. But the reality is, if people do this stuff, sometimes I'm just like, how the hell? Why do people watch me? I'm a chatterbox now when it comes to some of this stuff, just like you. I can't say enough things about you for multiple reasons. But respectfully, I enjoy the conversations we have, just like with, Brian and Louie, whenever Louie does get on here, talk to PJ a couple of times. But everybody I've had on this show, with the exception of one person, and I'm not going to say his name, it was the worst interview I'd ever had. I could not get this guy to talk. I couldn't get it. You just go back and look at the videos about a year and a half ago. Go back and look at the interviews, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a certain person I interviewed, and it's literally, you can tell. I'm just like, so, what are you doing tonight? So, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? So, and I was like, okay, man, well, we're going to let you go. I can't. It's one person out of, holy shit, what would that be? 300 and something videos I've done now.
Damn.
That's what I said. I was like, shit, I've done 300 videos. Holy shit. That's a lot.
It's crazy though, but you love it, man. So it's work, but it's not work. You know what I mean?
Sitting here is not work. Everything to get to this point is the crap, is the work, is the I used to actually every week I would just pull my hair out, which is why I'm bald, trying to figure out how am I going to get someone to interview, because people only want to watch when there's an interview. Well, it's not true. People want to watch because they want to find out what's going on. Yeah. But I just like with you tonight, I was like, you know what? I need to bring him on. I wonder if he'll come on. Send you the invite, and you figured it out. It's real quick. It's real easy. Come right on. And now it's there. So anytime you want to come back, you just click the link and you're already automatically there.
I was actually trying to get on my phone. I said, screw it. I actually, since we moved into the new house, I'm still working. I'm working in the dining room area. And I was like, I'll just flip open a laptop and see how it goes. So,
Where's your shop actually at? Where do you live?
We just moved from the Pittsburgh area out to Port Clinton, Ohio. So we're right off the lake right now. And I actually have a satellite shop that I've opened here because I have a 30 by 50 building on the property. So I'm just kind of doing my own thing there, setting that up. I still have the building and the crew and the guys in Pittsburgh. And then, the magazine I can pretty much do from wherever. So I spend 90% of my day just working on Urban Rides magazine. I mean, honestly, whenever I first started with it, I thought it was going to be a part-time thing. I didn't expect the magazine to blow up the way it did. And it blew up to the point where it just consumes everything, to the point where my wife will actually give me tasks right after we publish, because she's like, I have you for about a week. She goes, because then after that week, she goes, you will eat, breathe, and sleep the magazine again. And I'm like, yeah, it's just because it's kind of like what you probably encounter trying to put the show together, the build off together. It's people think like, oh, it's a cool magazine. Yeah, that's great. But I'm also running the website. I'm dealing with the advertisers, the advertising, I'm putting all the articles and everything together. I'm editing the photos. I'm doing layouts. All that just takes a lot of work. So it's funny because whenever I do hit publish, I just literally sit there nervous and just anxious beyond belief, just waiting for somebody to start blowing me up and going, hey man, it looks great. It looks great. It looks great. Because it's just so much work,
Yeah.
But
do you watch TV at all? Netflix, Amazon?
Yeah.
Go to Amazon and look up the Hugh Hefner documentary.
Okay.
Watch it. It'll probably change your life because you do the same thing he did.
Okay.
And the way that he did it, and the way that he made such a brand out of Playboy. I mean, it was insane. But that, when you're sitting here saying you're doing the layout and the design, I'm pretty sure is most of your stuff on the computer itself, or do you do any like layout, print boards and then ship it off to get something done? Or I don't know.
No, I do everything. I literally do all of it. So when I run into computer issues or tech issues, it's paralyzing because I do it all from start to finish. And I self-taught because I just, when we started, when I jumped in, Dan had gotten so far with it, but there were so many things that still weren't done. And it was a fledgling magazine. We were still getting advertisers. It's not like we had, a big cash reserve where we could just hire somebody else to do it. So I figured it out. And I'm actually glad I did, because it gives me so much more creative control. And it's nice because when I do put the magazine together, I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. I know how to make changes. I'm real weird about when I see something in my head, I need it to look like it's in my head. And I can't stop until it looks exactly how I see it in my head. I do the same thing with vehicles. It's always been that way, so it's pretty time consuming though.
Well, I know here, as things kick off, March 1st just seems like the date when everything's going to start happening for me, or that's the deadline I've put on everything for me. Once these things start happening, I know that I want to, hopefully, God willing, I'll have enough sponsorships that I can actually get a full page ad in Urban Rides magazine to be able to really promote over the next 9 months about the build off, because I'm telling you, I think it's going to be pretty good for the very first one, especially with the documentary behind it. But there's so many people that I've spoken to about it, about what's going on, how it's going on, the way it's going to go. And nobody yet has said anything other than, okay, that's what I would have done.
That's good, man.
The reason I say that is because I've never done a bike show before. So just getting the rules laid out, the judging criteria, that legitimately took me 3.5 months just to lay that part of it out, because I want it to be fair. I want people to be inspired. Okay, well, if this is what they're going to judge me on, did I put a good enough judging list together so that when you see the bike, it made them touch every part. It made them do that part. Because I looked at your bike. Your bike was one of the bikes that I looked at, and I thought, okay, well, if I was going to judge this bike, how would I judge it? And then you look at Louie's bike, and then you look at, Tim Whitney's bike, I looked at, Curly's bikes. I try to look at as many people's bikes as I could and start finding common denominators with the ones that are really badass. Like, okay, so he touched this. Well, all these other bikes don't touch that part. Okay, well, we're going to make that part judgeable. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a good system. I mean, I'm honored that you would even throw my bike or even throw my name in the mix with some of those other guys, because those are like the top guys in the industry. But I think that's a good formula for it. I mean, you're looking at well-built machines and seeing what are the best guys doing, and that's where I have to set the bar. I think that's a good system. I mean, that's a smart way to do it.
One of the coolest things, and I'll make this the end of it, but one of the coolest things that happened is I had a kid that I've literally known since 5th grade. And I never realized that he built a bike. He has a bike
Yeah.
and he customized it himself, but I didn't realize that he did the work. Well, when I came up with the national build off, and I was like, hey man, $2,500 to enter the show. Now the $2,500 is for the winner, but that's going to get you into the 11-month build off, the judging, and the documentary. So I mean, even if you lose, you pay $2,500, you're going to be in a documentary. You're going to be in it as much as you feel like sending me video footage. If you only send me 2 or 3 videos, I'm sorry, you're only going to be in it 2 or 3 times because you didn't give me enough footage. But when I was talking to him about it, I asked him, I was like, what would make you want to even do something like this? You don't build bikes. You're an IT guy. He's like, man, just to be a part of something that's I feel like this is going to be a piece of the motorcycle history. Like one day people are going to talk back and they'll be like, man, you remember that show? They made a documentary of that show. You remember that show? Yeah, I remember that. Well, I'm in that documentary. No shit, really? Yeah. So when he said that, he said, man, the moment I heard that you were going to do a documentary on it, that's when I knew I had to be a part of it,
That's
because
cool.
there's so many dudes that build literally quietly, unknown. Nobody has an idea who they are. They even blend in at rallies, but they built their bikes. They put their bikes together. They did this, that, and the other. And he goes, that's who he's representing. The guys that nobody knows about.
That's cool. I mean, dude, I think we've all been there. We've all seen a picture of a bike pop up on social media, or a bike at a rally or a show, and you've looked at it. And let's face facts, we know most of the people in the industry. These bikes all have their own personalities. We know these bikes. We know who built most of this stuff. But then you see that random bike that's just badass, and you go, wow, where did that come from? Who did that? And it's either the guy built it in his garage, or it's Joe Blow's custom cycle from the middle of nowhere. You're like, hell, man, like this dude has some talent, and those are my favorites, because they're not your standard issue. You know what I mean? I love seeing the little guys, seeing what talent's actually out there, because really that's what it's all about. You know, that worries me the most about this industry is that the enthusiast base isn't as inspired as it was 20 years ago. So seeing these little guys get into it, and these guys that maybe aren't that well known and have that talent, that's awesome. And we need that. That's what we need in the industry. We needed to keep it going. We need to keep a younger generation inspired.
Oh yeah. There's a guy. He's about an hour north of me, maybe an hour and a half north of me. I had no clue who he was. I saw him at Autorama, and just basically he was just polishing his bike up, and I got to walk up, and I thought his bike was cool because it was green. And we got to chit chatting. I didn't even get his name. Now that was in 2015. Out of nowhere, I got a text message literally a month ago, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're doing a bike show in Galveston next year." He goes, "Why don't you tell me about it a little bit?" So I start talking to him and telling him this, that, and the other, and I have no idea who I'm talking to at the point. And he goes, do you even remember me? I was like, man, I'll be honest with you, dude. I talk to so many people. I have no clue who you are. He goes, well, do you remember Autorama in 2015? And I was like, yeah, that was the year I entered my bike. The only time I've ever entered anything in Autorama. He goes, yeah, I'm the guy with the green bobber. And I was like, holy shit, really? He's like, yeah, tell me more about your show. I might be interested in entering it. And I talked to him. This guy doesn't build motorcycles for people. He builds motorcycles for himself. And he's got like 27 of them.
Oh God.
He only builds motorcycles for himself to keep. And when he said he had 27 motorcycles, I'm like, dude, you have 27 rideable insured motorcycles? Well, they're all rideable, but they're not all insured. I mean, shit, 27 bikes, even at $50 a piece, that's $1,400 a month just in insurance.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. But yeah, so I mean, it's not, I don't even think anybody in the motorcycle industry would know who this guy is. I could personally be wrong, but I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him. So guys like him excite me.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And those are the guys that keep it alive. I just I hope that, in the future, competitions and magazines and all this, I think it's going to take guys like us to keep it going. It's going to take the effort,
Well, I'm down.
Oh, so am I.
Right on.
I forget to mention, if we're coming to a close here, in the January issue of Urban Rides magazine, I will have the details of the grind. I'll have the rules and everything, the whole build off thing. I'll have it all laid out. Basically what we're trying to do in this issue, since it's the beginning of the year, we're trying to get some of the, the rules for the various competitions that we kind of participate in and kind of co-sponsor media wise. Just so everybody can get used to and answer some of the questions and get them prepped, because let's face facts, Daytona is going to be here in like 10 minutes.
Oh, no shit, right? Yes. Yeah. Was that what, March 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that?
I'm literally Saturday. I got to trailer my bike back down to the main shop so we can do some work to it. And my wife was just giving me shit because she goes, "You always wait to the last minute and then you're going to be scrambling for Daytona." I'm like, I've been scrambling for every show ever since I started doing this stuff.
So. That's right. If you're not on a time frame, dude, you're not doing something right. Because I'll tell you what, it always seems like shit. I had 6 extra months to work on this bike and I still don't have it ready.
Oh, dude, the best is for the last couple of years, we've even tried to plan at the shop and say, okay, the timeline is going to be, and then we'll end, we'll make the target date 2 weeks before we have to be ready. And then somehow we're still finishing up 2 hours before it goes on the trailer, because that one part you need happens to be broken out of the box, or this all of a sudden doesn't fit, but it fit before, you know what I mean? Or everything's together and you throw the switch and why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this line up? In mock-up, everything was fine. And it's just like, and it's funny because, you watch all the reality shows, with the build-offs and whatnot, and you see the stuff and you're like, oh, this is all manufactured. It's manufactured. Yeah. They're just pretending. And then, and since I've, since my business has grown and with the magazine, I've gotten to know a lot of guys in the industry, and they laugh because it's the same at every shop. It always comes down to the wire, even when you don't want it to. So
that's right. Well, cool, brother. Well, our hour's up. Actually, we've gone past, which is really cool. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Hey, man, I'll come on anytime now that I figured all this out. So.
Well, hell yeah. So now it'll be a lot easier. So you just said that. So don't get upset if I start sending you messages all the time.
Hey, man, I'm always around, dude. I live in front of the computer, so.
Right on, brother. We'll go have a blessed night, man, and we will talk with you later, bud.
Hey, and everybody, urbanridesmagazine.com.
Daniel just showed up when you did that and posted the link.
And pay attention, because Urban Rides does have a lot of really cool stuff going on this year. We got some expansion, and you, my friend Kevin, are going to be a part of that, because we're going to help try to push your branding along too, so we can work together and we can grow together and inspire the industry.
Hell yeah. Amen. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much, man. Go have a good night.
All right, folks.
Peace. Cool. Well, there you go. That's so funny, man. He said that, and then Daniel Roby puts up Urban Rides Magazine. Hell yeah. But anyway, so good show tonight. All I can tell you, builders, it's time. Y'all need to start sending your money in. Send me a message. I will message you back with my mailing address. Print out the rules. You got to sign the rules. Everything's got to be to me by March 1st. or you can't be in the show, you don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, the documentary alone, if you just to get in the documentary and be a part of the first documentary, that's going to be the tits right there. You got to be a part of this. But anyway, you guys have a blessed night. Love each other. Push the share button. Push the share.